out there for these truck drivers with one fast repair.
Yeah, that one fast repair is going to come in handy here. Just watching practice, seeing a lot of trucks get in trouble with each other, whether making contact or just getting into the wall and a little bit more than a Darlington stripe, kind of giving the little Darlington pancake out there, getting out of turn 2 especially. So that fast repair going to come in big tonight for these guys around the Lady in Black.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had a fast repair after our race last week. I'm sure a lot of people do. But that is one of the good things about these truck series drivers. They get the extra benefit of having that one fast repair. Kind of leads to a little bit more aggressive driving, which we might see tonight. Who knows? But let's go ahead and move on to our league details now and explain to you exactly what we do here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. It's a 20-week fixed setup league. One fast repair, like we already mentioned, and these drivers are paying $5 a week to get in on the action. That's going to set them up for weekly as well as season payouts, with the season champion coming away with $300. And we have up to 5-person teams as well, and they're battling for a $100 team championship.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of ways to make a little bit of money, and we still got a good bit of the way left in the season, but when you really think about it, in the regular season, only a few races left, so we're starting to get down to that time period where you mentioned the aggressiveness for some of these guys coming in this race tonight around Darlington, having that fast repair. We're going to see that ramped up even more just because we've only got so few chances left to make that impact in the point standings, both on the individual side and on the team side.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy just how quickly this season is moving on, and it is going to be down to playoff action before we know it. But let's go ahead and see what these drivers are racing for tonight. They're going to be running for $15 going to the winner of tonight's race here at Darlington. Second place going to come away with $10. Third through fifth going to get their money back. And like we always like to mention, Brandon, that starts to add up if you're landing in these first through fifth positions throughout the season.
Yeah, we got a few drivers that have been kind of setting some money aside here week after week, and they're also our favorites when it comes to the big payouts at the end of the season, as well as the team side of it, where you get that little extra payout as well, splitting that team payout of $100 at the end of the season. But yeah, you mentioned it: $15, $10, $5. It's a $5 entry. Either get your money back and put it forward to next week, or you're starting to pay off almost through the rest of the regular season if you win tonight.
Yeah, but that's not all these drivers are racing for. They have season payouts that they're going for as well, like we already mentioned earlier on in the broadcast. Some big money to hand out through all 3 series, and tonight they're going to be going for their bid to get into the playoffs to race for that $300 grand prize going to the season champion. Second place going to come away with $150. Third going to get $90. Fourth going to come away with $60. And that fifth place driver, the last one to make it into the playoffs, is going to make that $40 back. Sixth place going to get $30. Seventh going to get $20. And eighth place going to get $10 back.
And I like that addition of those final 3. We've brought that up a couple times here this season, but I really like that it's going to add that added sense of just going for it in the final race of the season for a few more drivers in the field, those 5 that didn't quite make it out of that second round into the final round for the championship. But these payouts, you're looking at $5 a week for 20 weeks. That's $100. You can triple your money by walking away with that title at the end of the season.
Sounds pretty good. So we'll see how that works itself out as we get further on in the season. But something to help these drivers potentially get into that final round of the playoffs to make a bid for that $300 prize going to these truck drivers is working with Kane Cook. He has his own sim coaching program, and I am one to tell you about it. He is a great guy to work with, has 2 accounts, over 7,000 iRating, and for those that know it, that is not easy to come by. He races in the Coke Series, running for a $300,000 grand prize, and he's known for being a hard charger, so he knows how to pass these cars on track. So this is a guy that knows what he's talking about. He knows how to deliver what he needs to tell you to you on the track to help you out. And Brandon, you've worked with him too, and he's helped you out along the way as well.
Especially when it comes to just the long runs on the track. He's the hard charger, and with that, a lot of that comes with strategy and just kind of knowing how to conserve your stuff, be strong at the end of a run, not just be quick in qualifying. There's a lot of guys out there that'll kind of focus and practice on, let me put down the fastest lap time, let me make that impact out there. It may not focus so much on the long run. Kane and I worked on that part, and that's helped me out a ton. And we've always mentioned you can go to speedracingnetwork.com. We'll try that again, speedracingnetwork.com, and book your session. And you can do one-on-one, you can do two-on-one, you can do a whole team. There's different rates for all of those, but definitely something to check out.
Yeah, lots of great options, and he definitely helps you with the little nuances that go into iRacing, whether it's entering pits, pit exit, long runs, like you said, setting up yourself for success. He can help you out with that. So do take advantage, like Brandon said, of that website you see there in red. But let's go ahead now, move on to a new segment that we've been talking about all season long. It's the Beer of the Week, brought to us by Beer Street Journal. And our producer, Sean Griffith, has ours this week.
When the fall season comes around, most people think about pumpkins, and who can blame them? We've even had 3 pumpkin-style beer segments in the past 4 weeks. But another fall tradition is fast approaching. It's Oktoberfest. So this week's Beer of the Week comes out of Wild Heaven Brewery in Decatur, Georgia. And for the 4th straight year, Wild Heaven is bringing back their Fest beer. Now, originally in years 1 and 2, the brewers used a specific type of European hops in the brewing process, but it wasn't quite traditional enough. For a traditional Fest beer, you have to use hops straight from the home of Oktoberfest in Germany. So that's what they did, and what has resulted is a very traditional but very delicious German lager. So if you're looking for that perfect Oktoberfest taste and feel, don't look any further than Wild Heaven's German-style Marzenfest beer. The Beer of the Week is brought to you by BeerStreetJournal.com, the leading online publication for craft beer reviews. Go to BeerStreetJournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, you must be 21 to enjoy, and please drink responsibly.
And there you have it. That is our Beer of the Week, brought to us by Beer Street Journal, Wild Heaven Brewery out of Decatur, Alabama. Their Fest beer. It's a little bit of a German style, it looks like, Brandon. This kind of tickles my fancy. How about yours?
Same, and it is about that time where we start seeing all those Oktoberfest style beers start to come out. Very much one of my favorite times of the year when it comes to beers, so definitely interested in this one.
Yeah, and if you want to check out any other beers on their website, do go to BeerStreetJournal.com. And as always, thank you to them for coming on board with us this season. It's been an absolutely awesome segment here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. But moving on, we've got individual standings right here. These are the drivers inside the cut, and it's a little bit of a different look now. You can't tell it on the screen, but these are the standings with drop weeks. And here in SRN, we have 3 drop weeks that these drivers can take to improve their standings. It'll drop their 3 worst finishes throughout the season. So far, this is what it looks like with those drops in effect. And there you go. Jonathan Byer still at the top of the board. Sean Jensick going to come in second, just 15 points behind Byer. And Landon Cardullo going to round out our top 3.
And you do have a few names that are very familiar from the playoffs from last season, not far behind them. You have Michael Madden, who is one of the title favorites last year and also coming into this year sitting in 5th. Kyle Wimble was in the championship 6th last year. He's sitting in 6th. And then you have Jack Johnson, one of the playoff drivers from last year as well, sitting in 13th. So there's plenty of guys in here that can still make that charge. And when we throw in those drop weeks, these standings did get a lot.
How talented this field is, because when you go to look outside the cut, there's a lot of drivers that can easily be inside the cut. Our very own Jacob Zala, who helps out with the broadcasts on Thursday, sitting just outside the cut, 1 point to the negative. He's looking to get in there. Cody Riggs, just 7 points out. Michael Lamenti, just 9. And you just go down this list, you got all kinds of names that could easily be inside there. You got Michael York and Brad Herman down at 26th, 27th. All these guys can get in there.
And we were, just mentioning the championship 6 and some of the guys that are inside the cut and threatening for that points lead. How about sitting in 20th, Bobby Anderson, championship 6 driver from last season. He's outside the cut by 11 points at this point in the season.
Yeah, and you just, if you take a look, well, we're not going to go back and take a look, but who are you going to take out of that inside the cut to replace with these guys outside the cut. Like, you see these names right here, and it's just, every one of these drivers is so talented. I'm so excited to see how it's going to hash itself out. But let's go ahead and check out our team standings next. And there you see Jonathan Bayer Racing. They were on a hot streak to begin this season, and there you go. They already still have a 57-point lead over Revved Racing, and Next Level Motorsports going to round out third with 4 wins to their credit. So that's your top 3. And again, to remind you guys, as always, this is for seeding purposes, as we have a playoff format to sort out the team championship standings this year. So right now, this is 1st through 8th.
And the scary thing is, too, you look at Bobby Anderson Racing. They had the late start to the season, but they have been very strong since they kind of got everybody together. And really just in the past month or so, they've been running as a team. So even if you're the number 1 seed, you're not really getting that whole 1-8 seed kind of thing that you see in sports where you got that big advantage. Bobby Anderson Racing is kind of that spoiler role because of the late start. So this is going to be real interesting once we get to week 13 and the start of the playoffs.
See how it works itself out when the time comes. But let's go ahead now and get to the fun part of the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show, and that's going to be team introductions, and we'll get to meet all these drivers going to be out there on the track tonight. And first up is going to be that first place team known for their consistency and speed. It's Jonathan Bayer Racing, and the leader in points, Jonathan Bayer, going to be out there in the 66 machine. 2 wins to his name. Kyle Wimble going to be in the 3. Landon Cardulo still searching for that first win. He's always running up front, but yet to get that W. 35 of Jack Johnson and the 75 of James Kerr also out there.
And there's not much more we can say about this team top to bottom. They've been very strong, and even on days where they kind of have some struggles or some things just kind of pop up, they get caught up in somebody else's mistake, they still make the most of it, and that's what really sets them apart from the rest of the field at this point. They've just been able to capitalize on every opportunity.
Yeah, and agree more. But next up, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our second place team in the standings. That's going to be Revved Racing, and they have a pretty nice team as well. The 7 of Lucas Lyons, the 15 of Michael Madden with the win to his name, the 29 of Sean Jensick, our Daytona winner out there, the 97 of Sean Kosher. Got to give him a shout out. He won the Swift Championship yesterday in the Truck Series, so he has got some momentum on his side, and the 224 Cody Riggs also out there as well.
A couple guys on the team with some momentum. Michael Madden winning our last truck race at Pocono, and that's somebody that definitely keep an eye on. Had a little bit of a slower start to the season than what we were used to from last year, but he is really starting to find that again over the past 5 races or so, and I would not count him out at all moving into the playoffs here pretty soon.
Yeah, and that's just a credit to the talent, like I mentioned here in the Truck Series, really giving Michael Madden a run for his money this season, but, coming out on top in that last race, like you mentioned. So next up, we're going to go ahead and check out our third place team in the standings. 4 wins to their name already this year. It's going to be Next Level Motorsports, and their team captain, Michael York, looking to get the momentum going as he's trying to get inside the cut. The 32 of Troy Techmeyer trying to turn the luck around as well. Newcomer 43, Stan Carnathan, and the 69 of Brad Rivers, another newcomer, looking to make a name for themselves here in SRN. And that win sticker next to Brad Herman in the 85 machine, he's looking to keep that momentum going and trying to get in that inside the cut mark.
Still gelling as a team, but they are starting to find themselves, and not to get too far ahead, but still have a little bit of time in qualifying, but provisionally spots 1, 2, and 3 currently led by Next Level drivers, so they definitely keep an eye on them tonight.
Yeah, looking good so far with that Q speed out there. So let's go ahead and move on to our 4th place team in the standings. And it's going to be a new team to SRN this year, but not a lot of new names. We know these guys pretty well. Zuyos Racing, Don't Feed the Animals, and their captain of Rob Yost looking to make that push to the playoffs here this year as he was in there last year. The 06 of Blair Hallman having a great season. He's sitting 4th in the standings. John Taylor looking to turn the luck around. Dave Hughes Jr. barely sitting inside the cut. He's going to need a good run tonight. And the 99 of Mike Mosby, another driver, inside the cut.
And JBR takes the headlines, but Zuyos very quietly has really put together a great season as well. 4 of their drivers inside the top 15. And this was the team that we were kind of sitting there thinking like they might be the underdog, kind of playing into Rob Yost's role last year during the playoffs. And they've really exceeded that and gone well beyond the underdog role now.
Yeah, definitely caught the attention of these guys out here on the track. But looking at the 5th place team in the standings next, it's going to be Tank Racing, and they're definitely going to be looking to get the momentum going as a lot of these guys are sitting outside the cut. Jacob Zala just 1 point in the red right now in the 25 machine. The 26 Josh Mueller has had a good run so far this year. Bruce Sampson in the 63, the 64 Walt Lipicki, and the 79 of Jeremy Duncan going to round out their roster.
And this is a team that you want to keep an eye on tonight for a couple of people, one of which being Josh Mueller. There's only 3 drivers that are in the series this year that finished in the top 10 at Darlington last season when we had our truck race there. Mueller being one of them, had a great race then. Keep an eye on him tonight.
Moving on now to our 6th place team in the standings. It's the fun team, like they like to call themselves, and it's the Do-Gooders. And there's a lot of familiar names we see here on their roster. The 17 of Danny Setzer, the 24 of Taylor Smith, the 88 of Joseph DuPont, the 90 of Corey Knight, as well as a newcomer, the 239 of Joey Farrell.
And this is a team that there's been some nights where they've really put it together, had some good runs for the majority of the team, and then there's just been some times where they've had a rough go of it, where things just kind of happen around them. They get caught up in some incidents, and it just gets real frustrating for them, I'm sure. But they've held together, pretty solid season, still kind of building that momentum going into the playoffs, where we can really see what they can do.
Now the 7th place team, Brandon, and it's your team, Stryker Motorsports, and I always like to give you the floor in introducing your guys.
I appreciate that, and with Stryker, you see it fast as lightning. The problem tonight, going to be a little bit shorthanded, it seems, not seeing all 5 of them out on the track tonight, but you do have the number 1 of Matt Johnson, the number 9, Tevin Whitner, the 33 of Don Milkowitz, the 42, and one of our the playoff drivers inside the current cut of the top 15, Kevin Winker, and the team captain in the 71, Travis Trevelyan.
Yeah, Kevin Winker going to do his due diligence tonight to try and stay inside the cut, as he is barely hanging on to that at the moment. But let's go ahead now, finish out these team introductions with Bobby Anderson Racing. And it's, like you said, a new team that kind of developed late but has gotten it going with the momentum and gelling together. They like to raise the bar, as you see right there. And they're going to be headed by their captain, the 18 of Bobby Anderson, the 48 of Evan Scott, the 54 of Jason Kratke, the 55 of Michael Lamenti, and the 87 of Andrew Harris.
And I mentioned 3 drivers that were in the top 10 last year are here again tonight. And the race winner from last season at Darlington is in that 87 truck, and that's Andrew Harris, and currently sitting on provisional pole as we close out qualifying here pretty shortly.
We do have a few independents as well. Nathan De La Rosa coming down out of the Xfinity Series in the 61, the Brad Yonkman machine in the 93, Anthony Pritchett in the 14, as well as Raul Mesa in the 37. So that's going to be our field tonight. Let's go ahead, get out there on the track for the Throwback 125 here at Darlington Raceway. In our starting lineup, Andrew Harris going to be on the pole tonight for Bobby Anderson Racing. Brad Herman going to be just outside of him, starting second. Blair Holloman going to be starting third, and Bobby Anderson going to be in 4th place.
And row number 3, we're going to have Michael Madden sitting in the 5th spot for Rev'd Racing. Jacob Zala out of Tank Racing will be on the outside. Row 4, Landon Cardulo for Jonathan Byer Racing, and he'll be alongside Brad Rivers for Next Level. How about that? 6 different teams represented in our top 7 tonight.
You'll love to see that. A rookie, Lucas Lyons, going to be starting 9th tonight. Stan Carnathan, another rookie here in SRN, going to be just to his outside, starting 10th. Matt Johnson out of Stryker Motorsports going to be in 11th. And rounding out our top 12 is going to be Nathan De La Rosa coming down from the Xfinity Series, like we said. So, Brandon, it's that time. Who are you taking? Because I need to take a minute. I haven't even thought about who I'm taking tonight.
I think with as difficult as it is to pass on this track, it's best to start out front. And, oh, by the way, the race winner from last season is starting out front. I'm going to go with Andrew Harris, not just because he got the pole, but because he led about half the race last season. Very difficult to pass around Darlington. I think sitting out front is going to go a long, long way tonight.
I don't like that he's in a 13 truck. That is going to be incredibly confusing tonight. But that's just to coincide with my pick tonight. I'm going to take the actual 13 of Landon Cardulo. This man has been knocking on the door, has had some really bad luck of late. Love the Joe Nemechek Throwback right there. But man, he has really shot himself in the foot in some of these races where he's dominated. I think he gets it done tonight. So we'll see if he's able to pull it off for Jonathan Byer, get them their 3rd win of the season. But let's go ahead and bring in our pit reporter, Landon Lacey, to get his pick too before these guys go green. Landon, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the I'm kind of being a little biased here because I've been doing a lot of work with this guy. But I'm gonna go with the 25 of Jacob Zala. Like I said, did a little work with him here last week, and he really impressed me with his long run speed. So I think he might be able to get up there and battle Andrew Harris and Brad Herman, possibly for the win tonight.
A little bit of an inside scoop there. Landon thinks we're going to have a long run tonight. We'll see if we get that as these guys are off on their pace lap. Pace car lights are off. Only one pace lap to go, so after they go around these next couple of turns, we'll be under green flag conditions here at Darlington, and man, it's going to be an awesome race. I love the Jeff Burton throwback. We got Brad Herman rocking a Kevin Harvick throwback just to his outside. We got all kinds of throwbacks. Looks like a Ricky Hendrick throwback just behind him in the Blair Holloman machine. I absolutely love Darlington for this reason, but the pace car is off, and Andrew Harris is going to have the field in his hands. He is going to try and get a good jump on the 85 of Brad Herman here, just waiting, and he's going to smash that pedal. It is green here for the throwback 125 at Darlington.
Absolutely great jump there for Andrew Harris, pulling about 2-3 truck lengths ahead, getting into turn 1. And this is going to be the real tricky part. Everybody trying to get single file as they exit out of turn 2 and doing a good job of it out in front. And looks like about the first half of the field, all single file, and that is important out of turn 2.
Making a bold move there to take over 4th from Bobby Anderson, pass him on the outside of turn 2 there. Almost got into the wall. But right now, Andrew Harris loves what he's seeing, smooth sailing, as he has all the clean air, and that is super important here at Darlington. That is going to be key tonight. Clean air is key at any track, but Darlington is huge. So right now he's got Brad Herman sneaking up behind him here, trying to get the draft and try to get to his bumper, but unable to do so. First 5 or 6 cars all single file here.
Watching Kyle Wimble take a peek on the inside, and we talk about how touchy it is. Oh, speaking of touchy, there's a little contact there with the 99. They're all going to keep it straight. No caution after that, but Mike Mosby with some damage there to the right side.
He got some damage, but an amazing save there by Mike Mosby to not catch the whole field involved in that. He can come down at some point. He's going to have to limp around here for a little while with some damage, but we'll be able to use that fast repair or maybe just get the pit. Wow, big hit there for Josh Mueller.
Yeah, that was a heavy hit out of turn 2, and it's so easy to do. Talking about it on Sunday during the Cup race, that turn, once you exit, it just wants to launch you into that outside wall, and if you catch it at the wrong angle, you are almost done for, and you saw that heavy impact from Mueller as this race tightening up a little bit there as they were going down the front straightaway between Harris and Herman. That for the lead, and it looked like Herman had a good run, but didn't want to risk it this early, getting into an awkward position there in turn 1.
Yeah, that turn 2 is one of the hardest turns to negotiate here on the whole circuit, I would say, just because of the way, it's going to pinch down, and it's just even more turn because it goes down to a smaller turn. So it's almost like an acute angle that you're pinching off of 2, and it's just really hard because you're flying through 1 and 2, trying to get all the speed that you can, and that wall just sneaks up and grabs you. The lady in black takes a lot of prisoners throughout this whole race. We will see that quite often tonight, but great for these guys to get single file so early on. Great racing by these truck guys here.
It's so important to be single file here as they work through 3 and 4. We talk about how treacherous turns 1 and 2 are at Darlington, and if you're a Days of Thunder fan, that was back when it was 3 and 4 back then, and they always talk about treacherous turn 4. You never want to go on the outside. Well, that's turn 2 now with that little bit of a remodel that happened here. Side by side out of turn 2. Little sideways there for the 18 of Bobby Anderson, but they do a great job there. But you see the amount of speed that was lost by Brad Rivers in the 69 truck, that Rusty Wallace throwback, and the black and gold. Saw how much he lost speed because he had to back out of it just to make sure he didn't have a problem there in turn 2. But to go back to the other point, 3 and 4, try to make those passes at any chance you can. 1 and 2, you got to be real careful.
Yeah, you see Landon Cardullo able to get through that chaos there. These guys stacking up from about 7th on back. But like I said, man, that Joe Nemechek throwback is super cool. want to give a shout out to Bobby Anderson as well. It's a really creative throwback that he's using tonight, a Casey Kane Mopar throwback. I was wondering what that was, and it makes more sense now that I see it. That does give the Casey Kane Mopar vibes, correct, Brandon?
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, that one I was a little bit more obscure, but I definitely see that one now that you mentioned it. That's a good one there.
Behind him, Lucas Lyons is proud of this. He's using his old Forza throwback from when he first got into racing on video games. So he went back to one of his favorite schemes that he used back then, put it on a truck, and there you see it. And a bit of an inch. Oh, we got 3 wide, exit at 4. I'm not sure who that is.
Just a moment ago, Kyle Wimble was on the middle of that 3 wide. He got pretty heavy into the wall, and I think that's what started that. As you see that big stripe on the right side of that truck and rear damage. He had a hard impact in 3 and 4.
I got a little bit too caught up in the throwbacks that we're seeing and missed a little bit of that action. But yeah, that was crazy for a second. But you know what, Brandon? We are still green. First 10 laps of this, we are green flag action. Got some side-by-side between Josh Mueller here and Michael York in that beautiful Dale Earnhardt throwback there in the Bass Pro Shops 23. Chromed all out. But right here, I know Josh Mueller is always proud of his LSU colors, but there you see the Michael York 23 machine that I was just talking about, the 50th anniversary logo on the back. That makes me feel really old, as that was quite a while ago.
I still remember that Winston vividly. That was a great race that night, and yeah, definitely feeling my age a little bit. And also, you know, Josh Mueller, those LSU colors. Thank you. I'm a fan of you right now.
Hey man, no bias here. We all know SEC dominates. We don't need to hear it anymore. But there you see another Darlington Stripe being handed out to the 55. Like you mentioned, Michael Amenti going to gather that one up. But still, these guys are doing a great job, even when they make a mistake of not getting into other drivers, which is what we saw happen quite a bit in the other series. Might get another one right here. He is really running up tight to that wall. Stan Carnathan running a really cool throwback too. Looks like a Ricky Craven Kodiak throwback. Looks really good on that truck.
Yeah, those old mid-'90s, late '90s Ricky Craven ones. It's a little funny that we have Talladega this week. That's probably where Ricky Craven might be most known, actually, for that wreck that he had there in that similar paint scheme. That coming up Talladega for us in Xfinity and in Cup this week. Speaking of throwbacks, how about this one for Dave Fuge? And that one has a lot of personal meaning to him, actually. As that's a 2002-2003 Truck Series, and by the way, Dave Fuge Jr., the crew chief of that truck during that time. So definitely something that he wanted to do a throwback to, and a great-looking truck. Won a couple titles, actually, in 02 and 03. So very cool seeing that one out there.
That is really cool. I actually did not know that. That's a cool little tidbit here. Brought to us by the one and only Brandon Domain. But if I can get our producer, I want to go ahead and zoom in on our very own Jacob Zala here that we have up here in the booth on Thursdays. A little bit of a different look here, as he is telling me that he was going a little bit different direction for this one. Brandon, I'm going to quiz you real quick and see if you know what this is. I know you're not going to get it, but I'm going to give you a chance.
You started throwing it. I'm like, oh no, I have no idea on this one.
This is a John Force funny card throwback.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Big into drag racing. We talked about it on my live stream that I did a couple weeks ago as I was painting Jordan Baines throwback, and he told me all about it, and I got to talking to him and told him that I drag raced for a little bit, and he was super excited about that paint. So it looks good out there on a truck. But right there, Landon Cardulo going to pick up 6th place after he passes Brad Herman. Actually, yeah, not sure what's...
That's still Andrew Harrison, the 13.
Oh, yeah, see, the 13 is already messing me up. Seeing that's Andrew Harris passing Brad Herman right there. I was like looking at the standings for a second. I was like, that's not adding up right here. But yeah, I already told you the 13 was going to throw me off. But there you see Andrew Harris and Brad Herman getting tight with one another here.
Yes, they've really been holding steady at the same interval, about 0.2, 0.3 a second an interval, lap after lap. This has been real smooth between them, and they're just kind of coasting and still pulling away from Jacob Zala sitting in 3rd. They're about 1.5 seconds clear of him. Blair Holloman another second back. This is really good run here for both Harris and Herman as they're just controlling this race, and it doesn't look like they're pushing their equipment too hard.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to one-stop this. I'm not exactly sure on the fuel strategy. Landon, we'll go down to you in the pits. Do you know how much they can get out of their tank of fuel tonight?
It should be about 45 to 50 laps, but I don't see many guys stretching it that far. Tires are at a premium. So, I mean, I think if you can... 95 laps, it turns it into a one-stop race. So, I mean, you basically have to run 45 to 50. So, we'll just have to see. I just think guys are going to be really wanting tires before they get to that point, though.
Taking a look at Bobby Anderson here, trying to find. We might have heard someone spinning out there for a second.
There we go.
Matt Johnson getting into the wall. He's got a few Darlington Stripes tonight. That truck really resembling it there. But a lot of these trucks so far already with some right side damage. It just, that comes with the turf here in Darlington. You kind of expect that's going to happen. You just need to realize you're going to have to move on, and you're going to have to get it fixed under yellow. Right now, these guys not really showing that they're going to go yellow anytime soon, as we see a great battle here between Dave Fuge Jr. and Nathan De La Rosa. See if Dave can get his way into the top 10.
And Dave nursing a little bit of damage there. As we got three wide right here as Fuge on the outside, Johnson in the middle, and Aminti on the inside. Matt Johnson going to back out of it, and I think Michael Aminti thought about backing out at the same time. They nearly make contact. Great job avoiding each other, but still side by side. Now with Michael York there on the outside, and they get that sorted out, and that is impressive because that looked real sketchy going into one.
A lot of respect between. Wow, what a slide job right here. That was just. Wow, that was an aggressive slide job there. He's going to pull it off, though. Gets in front of Dave Hughes Jr. Matt Johnson takes the 12th spot. These guys all could throw a blanket through 12th through 16. Dave Hughes Jr. hard in the wall.
He got squeezed there by Michael York in the 23. It's just so hard to get a good run into 1 and 2 side by side. We saw that contact, and we saw the end result of it as Dave Fuge Jr. getting the worst of it. And that's about 2 or 3 Darlington Stripes for him in the last couple laps.
He's going to be feeling the effects of that damage for sure. A Darlington Stripe is one thing, but he pounded the wall right there. Well, we got some spinners here. John Taylor taking a spin. Hits hard on the inside wall.
Well, that changes the race. We can kind of leave the one-stop strategy at this point because everybody's going to want tires after 22 laps of good, clean, green flag racing around this Darlington track that is just a cheese grater on tires. And we caught it live, but we'll take another look back on the Beer Street Journal Rec replay.
And you would stay out there on old tires, mix it up a little bit. Take a look here. Jacob Zala to his inside, gets into a little bit. That gets him slowed up big time. Wow, just these guys probably know where to go. Got really tight on the exit of 4 there. We're going to have to see exactly who it was that got into him. You see it again. Jacob Zala just washes up a little bit into the 471 of Trevelyan goes by. And then Blair Holloman, John Taylor comes down on the 06 of Blair Holloman. And that's going to send him to the inside wall there. Big damage. Going to have to use a fast repair to get that square D number 4 truck all repaired. Cool Bobby Hamilton throwback right there.
Yeah, it's a cool throwback, but it's a very difficult part of Darlington is when you're going a lap down, trying to stay out of the way of the vehicles on the lead lap is always hard to do, especially in turn 1 and 2. I know I had a little bit of an incident there trying to do just that on Thursday during the Xfinity race, and you try to give as much room as possible, but there's so little space out there in 1 and 2. Just so hard to actually make that work, and we saw the end result of that where Jacob Zala in 3rd, Blair Holloman in 4th, getting caught up in that one just a little bit with the lapped vehicle, John Taylor.
See her off of pit road. Andrew Harris going to beat Brad Herman off there. I was worried for a second there. It could look like a little bit of a conservative pit entry for Andrew Harris. Thought Brad Herman might get out first, but that first pit stall pays off dividends time after time. You could just really shoot the truck out of the stall with no worries of speeding.
And it doesn't look like anybody out in front is going to have any issue there with any speeding penalty based on the look kind of going around there. So Andrew Harris going to continue to hold the lead as he has since the very start of this race.
Let's go ahead and bring up. Well, we're going to go ahead and try and bring up Andrew Harris here. Or, oh, sorry. Getting word that we're going to bring up Josh Mueller instead here. Josh, it's Greg and Brandon in the booth. All right, we're going to try and get the right driver up here. My producer, Sean, here. Throw me for a loop. Now we got Josh Mueller in here. Josh, it's Greg and Brandon in the booth. We heard you got a little bit of a championship here last week. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we did. I'm fortunate enough to be able to race super stocks at Wisconsin International Raceway in Wisconsin, and we were able to bring home both the red, white, and blue championship on the season, as well as the final points.
That is awesome, man. Congratulations on that. I'm sure, that's a long season to be doing that in real life. I'm also trying to translate it here as well. How's kind of switching that to this one? How's this race going for you tonight?
Yeah, so as far as transitioning, I don't get a whole lot of practice in, during the summer race season. So, I got to do what I can on the Wednesdays. But this race, Darlington, tough track, obviously. And I think I got one stripe already.
Probably not going to be the last one if we know anything about racing here last week, but just wanted to congratulate you, man, on that awesome feat, and that's just super cool. Bringing home trophies and bringing home some cash too, man.
Yeah, it was a fun season, and thank you guys for checking in, and I appreciate the goodwill on it.
You guys are starting to grid up here, getting ready to go back to green. We'll send you back down to your tee, buddy. Good luck.
Sounds good. Thank you much.
Well, there you go. Just one of the many actual drivers who race in real life. Josh Mueller bringing home a championship in super stocks. That is really cool.
That's so cool, and it just really goes to tell you about the quality of drivers that we have in SRN. A lot of people could look at the trucks and think, oh, that's the bottom series and all that stuff. There is a lot of talent when it comes to our truck series here in SRN, and that's just another example of that.
Yeah, a lot of it goes into buy-in, how much people want to pay, as well as, schedules as well. So people can race on Wednesday nights. They're going to be running here in the truck series. So super talented league we have here. Andrew Harris going to take the outside to start here. Good call by him as he gets a huge jump on Brad Herman. He has pulled 4 or 5 truck lengths over the 85 machine.
And he nearly pulled Michael Madden into the second position, but he's barely going to get squeezed out by Brad Herman in the 85. Jacob Zala is going to use that momentum on the inside to get by as well. So we're looking at Harris, Herman, Zala, Madden, and Blair Holloman, who had a little bit of damage to repair after that incident that brought out the caution. Still sitting in the 5th position, but Andrew Harris continuing to lead this one since the very start.
Yeah, it's good to see Andrew having a good race. Has had a really tough season this year after being one of our more, impressive truck drivers last season. Won a few races, led a lot of laps last year in SRN, but so far this year has been kind of quiet and not seen much from him. But tonight really putting it on display and being the class of the field. But we got some action back here between Michael York and Nathan De La Rosa, as well as Stan Carnathan, Dave Hughes Jr. in the mix, Sean Jensick in the Rusty Wallace throwback. It is a mess back here.
Oh, and that almost got real wild back there as Dave Hughes getting a little bit loose out of that turn and kind of kicking down to the inside, but keeping it clean, keeping it off everybody. And they still go straight and still go green as Nathan De La Rosa getting right up against that wall before turning it back down. That's the line that you need to have around here, especially in 1 and 2. It works in 3 and 4 as well, though.
Curious to see if Dave Hughes Jr. has a completely clean truck after some of the damage that he took on here. No, so he's hanging on to that fast repair, knowing what could happen here at Darlington. Just got the pit crew to fix it himself. I think you mentioned former crew chief. He knows how valuable it would be to actually have a fast repair in real life. He's going to hang on to it as we're only on lap 30 of 95, but right now working on Mike Mosby, trying to get by him. We got a battle for the lead, though. Brad Herman going to take a peek to the inside. That's not the line you want to be on if you're going to be making a pass. Again, Andrew Harris is going to get the high line run. This 13 is going to mess me up all night.
Well, the good news is he hasn't had to move much on the pylon, so we can kind of keep consistent on who's up there, as Andrew Harris does hold him off. And you mentioned that high line, it's definitely the way to go on 3 and 4. You get such a good run out of that turn. You can carry so much more speed, but you do have a shot to kind of take that inside line, especially if you want to run that half apron, half track above that dotted line that you see there. It kind of gives you a little bit of some freedom in that turn, but it's so much faster on the outside.
Yeah, we got battles happening all over the track. Michael Menti going to give the spot to Michael York here as Menti led off a little bit. Now, you'll see that a lot here as a lot of drivers are not comfortable driving side by side through these turns. It might look wider here on the broadcast, but man, this track is so narrow. You don't want to be side by side for too long.
And there's also that visual part, like you're so close to the wall as you watch Michael Amenti really wall riding there in the 55. And here's the view that you get from inside the truck. And you'll watch how much this narrows up. Everything below that dotted line is kind of no-go in turns 1 and 2. And this is actually a really low line for turns 1 and 2. You typically see up against the wall and then kind of drift it back down and then back up towards the wall when you exit 2. So you don't see a whole lot of that low line through 1 and 2. You kind of see something more like this. Look at him riding right up against that wall, and you can see how narrow that all looks. Even with those trucks side by side in front of them, it just looks so narrow going around that turn, and your focus is on the wall so much of the time. You kind of forget what's going on the inside as we got nearly contact there just in front of him. That's going to get a little bit of sweat going there for Michael York.
And you just saw it right there. Like you mentioned, you get below that dotted line, and that's just no man's land. You saw how loose that 66 got. Totally killed his momentum off the exit of turn 2, and that was easy pass for Michael York. Jonathan Byer going to be taking a look to the inside again, but that is going to be a hard position to get back as we see Blair Holloman losing a spot here to Brad Rivers. Brad Rivers up to 6th in that awesome Rusty Wallace throwback. We always got to have a Miller Genuine Draft throwback. That is one of the coolest cars in NASCAR history, in my opinion.
I remember that the Villains, the Renegades special that was on, and they said if you're going to be the bad guy in racing, you got to have a cool-looking car. And Rusty Wallace definitely had one of those cool cars back in the 90s, that black and gold Miller car.
Absolutely, but right now it's still a really good race up front. Only 3/10 separating our leader and Brad Herman as they're going on past lap traffic in the 90 of Corey Knight. Really tight right there. Oh. Brad Herman gets the wall a little bit as that was a really bad time to make a pass on a lap car. Nothing Corey Knight did wrong there. It just got really tight for Brad Herman, and that just doubled the gap between Harris and Herman.
And that is what we've been talking about all night. Coming out of turn 2, you do not want to be side by side, and you kind of impact that when you have lap traffic. They're off pace, and it's just so hard to figure out how you want to go through that. And there's heavy contact for Lucas Lyons, as you saw side by side going into 1. It's so hard to go side by side through those set of turns. 1 and 2 is just a nightmare side by side.
Man, Lucas Lyons is getting freight trained right now, and that is the worst spot to be in. You're trying to see all these trucks as they go by you, as well as staying off the wall and not wanting to get past anymore. Nothing you can do about it, though, when you lose that much momentum heading down the straightaways. He's going to tuck in behind Michael Amenti and fall back to 14th right now. Good battle between Mosby and Kyle Wimble here. Mosby almost getting into the rear quarter panel there of the 3, but that's going to give the momentum here to Anthony Pritchett, a newcomer here. Oh, and he gets big into the wall. We got Darlington Stripes being handed out to everybody. You get a stripe. You get a stripe.
Easy there, Oprah. So we see that another instance of side by side, and Mike Mosby did the right thing. He knew he was going to make that contact with Kyle Wimble, and he backed out of it and made sure that he kept it off him. But in doing so, he lost all that momentum, and it created that opportunity where he was about to get passed in turn 2. But oh, by the way, it is almost impossible to pass out of turn 2, and we saw that heavy contact because of it.
That's why we get along so well, Brandon. You understand my puns perfectly. But taking a look at our last week's winner, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, our last race winner, Michael Madden running 4th, looking good in that 15 Sparkle and Shine Ford F-150, just kind of cruising 2 seconds back of the leader. He's got his sights set on Jacob Zala in front of him, but he's going to have some a visitor coming up behind him here, Landon Cardulo, making his way up through the field.
And this is kind of one of those regular races that we see for Michael Madden. We're just kind of this long run, just kind of sitting back, waiting for the end to really make an appearance. Landon Cardulo, another similar race for him. He's just been picking off these spots. He only started in the 7th position, only gained a couple spots since here, but he hasn't put himself in trouble. But you can see the speed that truck has. He's also kept it very clean tonight.
Yeah, he has not a scrape on that truck. One of the few that can say that. But Michael Madden, like we just said, also with a really clean truck. Man, Landon Cardulo getting everything he can out of this track. If you get up close to that wall, that just gives you more opportunity to get on the gas and really use that acceleration and momentum down the straightaway. These guys are battling heading into... Whoa! Wow, they really shut the door on Jacob Zala there.
And I think Zala got into the wall or had to back out of the gas coming out of turn 4, and that cost him so much momentum, and that's where you saw that all kind of build up. And for Landon Cardulo in the 13, there wasn't really anything wrong that he did there. He just had to drive it in there, and you just launch up towards that wall, and either he thought he was clear or he just couldn't help but make that little bit of contact. And speaking of contact, Michael Lamenti riding against the wall there as you saw those sparks in front of the 7 of Lucas Lyons and the 43 of Stan Carnathan. We got trucks into the wall all over the place, which is the Darlington special.
Able to read the right side of these trucks after a few more laps coming up on the halfway mark, just a few laps away from it. But right here, taking a look at James Kerr's Days of Thunder throwback here, a really cool Superflow paint scheme here. I loved this car in that movie, something that's kind of underappreciated in my opinion. This was my favorite car.
That was a good one. And also seeing a note from Sean, actually. He's on a laptop and has his wheel set up at the beach. And as we saw him make a little bit of contact there right as we talk about him. So we won't bring up what we were thinking probably right now. But at least he's got a good view while he's running at Darlington here on vacation, it seems, out on the beach and just enjoying some Wednesday night racing.
Just goes to show how committed some of these drivers really are. He's taking it on vacation. Still making his appearance, though, here on SRN's Truck Series, as it is important to all these drivers to win this championship. And to win it, you got to be in the playoffs. And we are getting closer and closer to that time. We got a battle here. Jacob Zala trying to make the pass on Landon Cardulo. It's going to make it happen, maybe. Landon Cardulo is still going to be to his outside. Going to get really tight. He is in the wall. That's going to give Bradley Rivers some momentum here to possibly make a pass on Cardulo.
I don't think Brad liked that line that he had there. He backed out of that coming out of turn 4. Might have been worried about making some contact with the 13 of Cardulo, who actually got into the wall, I believe, in 1 and 2. If not, he was very close on that previous lap before he got the wall in 3 and 4. So you see Blair Holloman getting real sideways out of 2 behind them, running in the 7th position, but he keeps it straight as we still got some close racing here for the 4th position. Jacob Zala just ahead of Landon Cardulo and Brad Rivers.
I want to go back up front and show you just the gap that Andrew Harris has. He's got a 1.2 second lead over Brad Herman now, extending that gap as this green flag run goes on. We have 24 laps on this set of tires, so we are probably about halfway through this fuel cycle. But like Landon said earlier, can get about 45 to 50 laps, so we could be seeing some takers here shortly. And that could be huge, as it's going to be a big time differential on fresh tires. Now, if they do that, though, they're going to have to face the music when those tires wear off towards the end of the run, and will be a lot slower than these guys. But it is a strategy that we could see. 71 of Travis Trevelyan hard in the wall back there.
Man, he got punished for doing a good deed. He actually went to the apron and tried to give some space for Andrew Harris to not get in the way while being a little bit under power there, or a little bit off pace, I should say. And in doing so, just got real loose there on the apron. And when he kicked back up, just got straight into the wall. So good deed got punished there for Travis Trevelyan.
There you see it. Andrew Harris going to be coming up on James Kerr here. Going to be putting him another lap down, as Kerr has some heavy damage. Brad Herman in the wall back there.
That is a couple times that we've seen Brad Herman get into the wall now, and you see him still within a second and a half, so the pace obviously there. Just a couple of mistakes that happen so often around Darlington. It is almost impossible to go an entire race without getting a little bit of damage, and I think there's a little bit of scraping there on the 87, the 13/87 of Andrew Harris on the right side too. So I believe he got into the wall at some point as well. I don't think anybody's safe tonight.
You see him putting Rob Yost a lap down. Yost struggling tonight in that 98 machine for Zoo Yost Racing, running 34th and a lap down now, so he's going to have his work cut out to get back on the lead lap. So here we see it. Actually, he's 2 laps down now. So that is going to be really hard to get back on the lead lap. We'll see if he's able to do so. A few cautions could help his cause. But there you see just the gap that Andrew Harris has put on him in a lap. This truck is on rails in Darlington, South Carolina.
And this is the second night in a row. We saw it on Sunday night in the Cup race. Oh, hard impact there. Those sliding along that wall in 3. And we just mentioned it's almost impossible to have a completely clean race, and there it is. But this is really similar to what we saw Sunday night, where we had Dalton Tucker just running away with this race, leading so many laps, and then you have some late cautions, and things just come up around here. We saw a little bit of contact he had, and it wound up costing them the race in the end. But man, what a run we're seeing so far. Andrew Harris, 51 laps down, 51 laps led for the man in the confusing truck, but the Jeff Burton Throwback that is 87 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, wipe those numbers off because it's really confusing me, Andrew. So not sure you're going to be able to do the left side there, but it helps me out with the right side. Now I won't be seeing 13 as much. He just wanted to get in on the Darlington Stripe action. He didn't want to, miss out on the lady in black. Oh, big time! Man, and that's just right there. We saw Brad Herman do it a few laps ago. These lap trucks picking him up at the wrong time. That is big time damage for Andrew Harris. I believe Brad Herman is going to catch him and pass him now.
We saw 9/10 of a second since turn 2 already go away in favor of Brad Herman. Now make it a little bit more. He's back within a half second, and that is some significant damage.
Yeah, Landon, what is he going to be feeling with that much damage out there on the track?
It's definitely going to be a lot tighter on him, but I think this happened at a really good time for him. I've been back here crunching the numbers. We went green with 69 laps to go. Like we talked earlier, you can go 45 to 50 laps. But I don't see these guys doing a full fuel run here. I see these guys trying to split this up. So I think our pit window here.
We are yellow. Sorry, Landon, to cut you off, but there you go. That changes everything. Not to cut you off. You can go back to your point now.
Well, I was going to say their pit window would open with 57 to 60, or on lap 57 to 67, just due to just cutting that run in half.
There you go. These guys are under their second caution of the night. Kind of a break for both Andrew Harris and Brad Herman, who both have significant right side damage. Curious to see if they will be using their fast repair. I'd have to imagine Andrew Harris will definitely be using that, as he can't sit in the pits for too long, and it will lose a lot of track position here.
And this is going to get real interesting now, because we're sitting at 40 laps to go at this point. We're just talking about pit strategy and fuel. That is on the edge, and this is going to get real interesting for these guys. I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing some of these guys start clutching it after they make this pit stop, just trying to get every little bit that they can out of the fuel just in case we get this long run.
After this round of pit stops, we are having trouble actually finding exactly where the caution happened on the track. Admin's even having a tough time finding where it happened, so not sure if a truck stopped maybe, possibly, and, ejected out of the race back and bring it out. Or here, and it might be James Kerr. We'll find out exactly what happened here. I have to guess he probably comes to a stop right here, maybe? Not sure. We have no clue what happened, but nonetheless, we are under yellow here for the second time tonight.
This is interesting.
Andrew Harris not coming down pit road? Wow.
It sounds like there was an issue with the pace car where he wasn't getting the pit open.
Oh boy.
Something
And all
was
sorts
amiss.
are blinking right now. Really
I will say right now, guys, there's a big iRacing service issue going on right now, so that might be what we're experiencing.
No.
Oh my.
That could change everything, folks. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of drivers drop out of this race, not by their own will, but just from losing connection to servers, if that is the case.
And
Man.
that also makes sense for why the caution probably came out. So we can kind of start figuring that part out, but we got a bigger issue now. And this yet another week of iRacing issues that are
Huge.
affecting the truck race. And taking it as it is, Andrew Harris is going to take a huge hit here in this race, as he's pitting now, and he's going to be somewhere around 20th by the time he comes out.
Such a hard track to pass at, man. Wow, that is just absolutely devastating to his chances of winning tonight.
And listening in on the driver chat, it sounds like there's a lot of drivers saying that they're getting black flags for multiple reasons, and that's obviously going to go back to the server issue. And it looks like our admin's taking care of that and kind of clearing those away. But oh wow, that's a heartbreaker for Andrew Harris. This has been an amazing run he's had, and for it to go wrong like that, oh wow.
Yeah, my quality bar within iRacing was pegged on the red meter. I was worried for a second we were about to lose the whole session there. Looks like it's cleared itself up right now for the moment, but man, that is not going to help Andrew Harris feel any bit better. And just like that, we're gridding up very quickly here, quicker than normal. We're back to green flag action. That was only like 3 laps of...
We just got this extended, so there's enough confusion. They're extending this a lap.
Wow, this is crazy right now. We apologize to everybody viewing this on YouTube and Facebook. This is something that we haven't experienced live before in a race, but it does happen from time to time. The iRacing servers will go on a fritz here, and luckily we're not seeing too many drivers drop out of the race, but it is making everything go haywire out on the track.
Yeah, and one thing, and this isn't me just trying to, blow smoke or anything like this, but one thing to keep in mind, this is an iRacing server thing, and just kind of listening to the driver chat and seeing all the actions that are being taken by the admins. They are in a firestorm right now of drivers trying to figure out what's going on, trying to clear these black flags that came up for passing a pace car, it sounds like, for a lot of guys. So do not envy what our admins are doing right now. That is a lot on their plate in handling this situation. But definitely want to give a shout out to them for kind of getting by with this and trying to make the best of this issue that's popped up.
Yeah, these guys are in their sim rigs, not looking at Twitter, and that's where we find out a lot of the issues where it come from iRacing. They put it out there on their social media pages, and that's how we know. But these guys don't know that, so there is a lot of confusion happening right now between all these drivers, and they're in the middle of a serious race out here. We're getting close to playoff time. And there is a lot of confusion taking place on the track. They're going to have to try and refocus here, as it looks like the issues are potentially clearing up. But man, the one that is not going to be loving that is right there in the 13, but really the 87 Throwback there in the Jeff Burton car up front. He is up front no more after these issues. Andrew Harris was unable to see the pit lane open on his service, and now will be a lap down, I'm guessing. I'm not sure what is happening.
I'm trying to listen in.
Yeah, it looks like he's talking right now.
So far that I've heard, they are trying to give Andrew Harris his position back.
Okay.
That would be a very classy touch. That's a tough break, and I try to be as gentle on things as possible, but that is, if that iRacing server did have that glitch, he got absolutely screwed. And him sitting there up front, that's a good touch, good resolution.
Yeah, he's gonna get black flag for this more than likely, but the admins will go ahead and clear that, and that will give him the lead as he gets a good jump on Brad Herman. Super classy touch, though, like you said, of getting everything cleared up and being fair here. He was having an absolutely dominating race tonight. Looks to keep that up as we are back green on here for the Throwback 125. Yet to see him at the top of the board, so hoping that they can get that issue resolved. Oh, we got some action happening back there at the exit 2.
Stancar Nathan with a great save. Caught the end of that there, and saw the start of it, I should say. But he is very slow getting around, trying to make sure he doesn't come up on the track and cause a bigger issue in 3 and 4.
Yeah, this is the tough part of running this track when you get loose, not coming back up in front of people. I had to do that when we had the green-white checker last week. Was lucky enough to not get anybody involved, but man, you do not want to give up too many positions. But right now, 1st through 7th or 8th, going to go single file. Sean Jensick making a move on the inside of Michael York back there. Still not seeing Andrew Harris scored in first.
If I have this right, I think what they did was have him drop back into that position, and I think we're not going to see him up there because he's showing last truck on the lead lap. So I think this is more of a visual thing, and we might just not have this scored correctly until the next caution, if that came. And then maybe they would go further and adjust it there.
Boy, iRacing thought we were having too much fun tonight. Really wanted to shake things up.
Well, that virtual rain delay that happened here at Darlington last week just reared its ugly head and gave us that nice little fun moment there, figuring this all out. But hey, you got dueling 13s now, as it's the 13/87 of Andrew Harris out in front. And meanwhile, the 13 scored on top of the pylon. Landon Cardulo is sitting in first on the pylon, but second on the track. And so we got dueling 13s here for the win at Darlington with 30 to go.
This is not what I need. We got 2 13s battling for the lead. One is not even scored right now because of iRacing. Thanks, iRacing. But, man, we have a battle between Cardulo and Harris right now up front. And I'm going to be all sorts of out of whack here under this green flag. Great run by Andrew Harris so far to clear his head and get that lead that he has on the rest of the guys. Brad Rivers taking on Brad Herman right now. 2 Next Level Motorsports trucks here, trying to battle it out cleanly for third. Doing a great job of doing so. Brad Rivers is going to get the spot. Jacob Zala going to take a look to Brad Herman's inside. Not going to have the nose there. These guys are going to sort it out for now. Brad Rivers looking really fast.
And a lot of that in that turn, just being able to know that he's clear of everything. Brad Herman having to defend Jacob Zala just that little bit, and you can see the difference that makes. Just that little bit of nervousness that you might wind up side by side. And as we get in these final 30 laps, we're now in the final third of this race, and that's really going to make it interesting because you're going to start seeing a lot of those guys that were kind of backing out of that side by side in 1 and 2. You're going to start seeing that go out the window here pretty soon.
Taking a look on the inside, the gyro cam for the 69 truck. Brad Rivers going to be trying to run down Landon Cardulo here in that Miller Genuine Draft 69. Vincent Cortez made the 69 truck proud last year, winning a few races for Tank Racing. Bradley Rivers trying to pick up that momentum this season and put the 69 back in victory lane.
And Vincent Cortez kind of picking up where he left off last season, doing a great job. You and him are having a tremendous battle on the Xfinity side. We'll pick that up tomorrow. That 69 truck once again seeing itself inside the top 3 as Brad Rivers with a great showing as we got Jacob Zala, another Tank Racing driver, taking a look to the inside of Brad Herman. This is the race for 4th on the track as it's playing out. Still side by side as they head towards turn 4.
Ooh, wow, it got tight, but stayed clean. Side drafts happening by both drivers right now. This is going to be a tough spot to be in right here. Going into turn 1 side by side, they do it like pros. Jacob Zala not going to have the preferred line on the inside here. Not going to be able to get the exact run that he wants, but he's still able to clear Brad Herman. I'm wondering if Brad Herman's having trouble with the handling of that truck with that damage that he has currently.
That's very possible. I think there, too, he might have backed out, but that cost him a little bit as Michael Madden's starting to reemerge here as he's moved up into fourth, taking advantage of that little bit of a slip from Brad Herman as he moves himself into the top 5 once again. And this is that time where you start seeing Madden really start to move his way through the field as he loves those late race charges. But I'm not too sure if he's going to have enough for Andrew Harris, who is just clocked out. He is way ahead of Landon Cardulo. And I mean, unless we get a caution, it might be Andrew Harris's race, despite all the things that have happened here recently.
I just want to call you out and say that you're confused too, because Michael Madden is actually fifth.
Yeah,
that dropped Brad Herman out of the top 5.
Dang you, iRacing.
There we are. Looks like the admins threw the caution right there.
Yeah. Jason Tripp just came over the radio and said he was going to throw a comp caution to get Andrew Harris where he's supposed to be.
Oh. This has just totally thrown the race that we were having such a fantastic race. And man, we love iRacing, but surely these servers do just mess it up sometimes, man. And hopefully they can get that resolved.
Technology is our best friend and our worst enemy so often of the time, and this is one of those ways that they're not sure that a caution's going to come out where they can get this correct. And there's a lot of things that go into it at the end of the race, where you have scoring, you have our scoring systems, trying to make sure that they get this right at the end of it, not just during. And so this is definitely something that needs to happen as you watch Andrew Harris almost kind of taking that lucky dog in a way, as he's going to go whip around and get his lap back on the track and go into that position that he should be in based on everything that's happened.
Yeah, there is no easy way of doing this, but this is the best possible way right now. He's going to, just like you said, get that lucky dog, go back around and get on the same lap. He was essentially a lap down there, but driving just in front of our leaders. But right now he's going to probably go by all these trucks as well, hopefully cleanly, as he can sneak up on people at times. But yeah, he's going to go back up here, going to go down pit road, it looks like this time. And
He might just be using the apron.
So that's going to probably make it so that everybody else can't go down pit road yet.
And
oh boy!
I think the communication from the admins is nobody's to pit during this caution, or unless they're at least at the very start until they get it lined back up. Kind of half able to hear what's going on, but it sounds like there's no pit stops during this, and they're trying to get this going with 20 laps to go. It sounds like is the plan.
Here you see his name starting to climb back up the leader pylon as he is back up front. On the board now, he's going to get by Landon Cardulo here, and we'll see if they allow. Well, Royal Mesa going to go on by here.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of flashbacks, and we talk about the history of Throwback Week. There's a little bit of a precedent for this. I want to say it was around 93, 92, somewhere around there, but I remember Dale Earnhardt got called for a penalty that was an incorrect penalty. And there was actually a caution that was called because he had a one-lap penalty to put him back in the position that he should have been in. So how about that? We're living up to the rules on Throwback Weekend, even kind of taking away that we won't say penalty, but in a way it was a penalty from the server that got thrown towards Andrew Harris, who got caught in a bad spot because of the server glitch. And here we are. Caution comes out to kind of correct that scoring.
Yeah, I can't blame the admins for doing what they did just now. If the race was going to work itself out the way it was, Landon Cardulo was going to be scored the winner, and those point standings would have gone in to the SimLab point standings, and that would have had to make our admins go in and manually change that, and that would have just been an absolutely huge headache for everybody. And we want to get everything right here and actually have a great finish, run to the end. So they're doing everything fair by not allowing people to go down pit road, getting Andrew Harris his spot on the track, on the correct lap. All the scoring you see right now should be right. And it just didn't help either that little glitch or whatever was happening. It forced them to go green a little earlier than they wanted to. They weren't able to get it sorted out quick enough. But that has all been resolved now. And the 87... I got it right here. The 87 is back out in front.
So real quick here, they are actually reordering the top 10 to the original top 10 that it was when the ghost caution came out, from what I've heard from Jason Tripp.
Okay.
Oh. So
Yeah,
that's going back. We're looking back another 15, 20 laps then. So not when that caution came out. Okay. Well,
That's why you see Brad. We had Brad Rivers running third. He is now lined up sixth. You had Brad Herman in, I think, fifth or sixth, and that is why he is lined up second.
Yep. Well, thanks for that, Landon. That clears up a lot of things as well. So
I
all
heard
these
heard a lot of arguing on the driver chat. Now that makes sense. What's going on?
that's not gonna make too many people happy.
Yeah, there's a few guys that had a nice run going since that caution that are kind of going to be a little disgruntled, and you got to make the best of what the situation is. Definitely don't envy what the admins are having to decide there. There's no right answer. So, but yeah, there's going to be some displeased drivers out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you got to put yourself in the admin's shoes, and it is not an easy job. Sometimes it is, but this is why we have admins, to come up with these rules, make sure everything's being handled fairly. Yes, obviously, we're all race car drivers. We don't like to give up positions. We just worked our butts off to pick those up. But you know what? Everybody's dealt the same hand here. We still got 20 laps to figure this out. So go out there and get it.
And we were talking about how you're not going to see a whole lot of letting off in 1 and 2. Now with 20 laps to go, it's going to be 18 when we get this restart. Got some drivers that are going to be a little bit more on edge at this point. This is going to get wild here in the last 18 laps around Darlington.
Yeah, I don't think the next caution is going to be a ghost caution. I think we're going to see some really tight racing here. Some trucks bouncing off the outside wall. Pace car is off the track. Field is in Andrew Harris's hands. Gets a good jump, but not as good as he's had been getting. Brad Herman going to only be about 3 or 4 cars. Actually, I take that back. Andrew Harris taking a really good jump as he's out to a big lead, 0.4 of a second off of one straightaway.
Unreal. And there we go, side by side for third, and Landon Cardulo not going to quite get that momentum on the inside, trying to make sure he doesn't make that contact with Jacob Zala. So they're going to get straightened out single file all the way back to Blair Holloman. So you're looking at the top 9 trucks all single file already, and I don't think that's going to last a whole lot longer.
Jacob Zala right on the rear end of Brad Herman. Right here, little slide job from Nathan De La Rosa over Sean Jensick just outside the top 10. Michael York looking to his inside. Going to try and pick up that 11th place spot. See if Jacob Zala able to pick up the 2nd place position off of Brad Herman. He's got his sights set on Andrew Harris. Landon Lacey's pick, the guy he's been working with, trying to run down our leader here as Landon Cardulo getting by Brad Herman. Going to try and work on Jacob Zala next, but Brad Herman not giving up. They make contact. Big wreck coming out at Ford. They're going to keep it straight. Nope. They are wrecking here on the front stretch. Not sure if we're going to see a yellow, though. There it is.
Huge impact. Brad Rivers.
Yeah, that's going to be...
Go ahead.
That's going to be 2 upset drivers, because that was 2 drivers that were moved before that reorder was made.
Yeah, and that's a heavy impact for Brad Rivers as well, who was having such a good run as we go to the Beer Street Journal Rec replay for our 2nd actual caution of the night. And you can see everybody just get bottled up, and there's a huge hit. Nathan De La Rosa, Michael Amenti getting caught up in the aftermath of that as the 69 of Brad Rivers. Oh, Landon Cardulo, heavy contact there with Brad Herman. But once the 69 hit that inside wall, just shot right back up onto the track. Nowhere for Nathan De La Rosa to go, and in result, nowhere for Michael Amenti to go either.
Yep, we thought it might happen. I think Landon Cardulo might have thought he was clear there, but Brad Herman was not giving up that 3rd place position. And that just shows you how tight this track can get on the exit of these turns. There is not enough room for 2 trucks battling that hard. And it's just a daisy chain effect. All these drivers behind them are going to be caught up, and we're going to see just about everybody come down pit road this time. A few drivers going to stay out. Jacob Zala and Lucas Lyons, 2 SRN rookies, going to stay out there on the track with older tires. We'll see how that works out for them, both of them with clean trucks. But we got a lot of damaged trucks back here, probably coming to take their first and only fast repair to clean those trucks up.
So they're going to be out 22-lap older tires. We had about 5 laps on the subsequent cautions. So you're looking at about 13 green flag laps. That's going to be a good half second a lap or so that they're going to be off pace right off the jump. They're going to be hoping that is not the last caution, that we're going to see a whole lot of them and trying to keep some opportunities low for getting past. But that's going to be a rough ask, and you're going to have old tires side by side on the front row. This might get dicey if they make any kind of a mistake there.
Looking like Landon Cardulo might have got off ahead of Andrew Harris. We're going to have to see. Yeah, Landon Cardulo and Sean Jensick both getting out ahead of our previous race leader. Huge move by them. I'm pretty sure Andrew Harris, not sure if he just got in, might have been speeding. He is losing a lot of positions here. We're going to have to try and figure out exactly what happened to Andrew Harris, as he seems to be going to the back of the pack.
That does look like something that would happen for either speeding or leaving the line or crossing the apron a little early, but kind of just dropping back there. And man, what a night for Andrew Harris. He was just absolutely dominant, have that glitch come up, and then, oh man, just a rough time. But moving back up front, Landon Cardulo, who had that heavy impact, clearly he had a fast repair remaining, and that is amazing for him because he's sitting in the 3rd spot with a clean truck after that huge wreck that just happened there off of turn 4. He went almost head on into the wall at the start of that thing, and all of a sudden here he is sitting in 3rd. Sean Jensick, we were just talking about him being just outside the top 10. There he is sitting in the 4th spot, and Josh Mueller, a bit of a quiet night, but he's sitting in the top 5. And Jonathan Byer, the points leader, I don't think we've mentioned him all night, sitting in 6th. So this field got real shaken up, and we're seeing a lot of guys just buying their time. And here they are late in this race, sitting in a prime position.
Yeah, pretty sure Josh Mueller taking 2 tires on that pit stop to get him up in the top 5. So, Landon, how is that going to treat the handling of that truck? We got people out here on old tires. Tell us what that's going to do for 2 tires.
Well, I could tell you personally, it's not going to be very fun. I took 2 tires Sunday night in the Cup race, and it was a icy skating mess. Real quick, want to touch up on the Andrew Harris, why he's in the back. Commitment line violation. He was below the commitment cone to pit road. Actually made a late decision to come onto pit road. So that will go down as a commitment cone violation from iRacing.
He will have to start at the end of the line, so he is all the way in the back behind the lap cars and everything. So, man, he is going to need a lot of help. He's got a very fast truck, but I don't think he's got the time to do it.
Yeah, that's a rough one. He's going to be lining up in the 23rd position, it looks like. Definitely going to be low on time. But 12 laps to go, going to be 11 to go as we get this fired back up. And, oh, hold on, boys. This might be a little bit rough.
Pace car is off, and 2 trucks with old tires. See Jacob Zala get a little squirrely on the restart. Not going to be able to get out on a good jump. A good jump going to Sean Jensick here. He gets a big jump on Landon Cardulo. The first car with fresh tires is going to be taking a peek to Jacob Zala's inside. He sees it in his sights right now. That checker flag could be coming to the 29 throwback of Rusty Wallace. But Jacob Zala holding his own here on old tires so far. Is able to get a good jump out on the 29.
Oh, 3 wide going into turns 3 and 4.
And when yellow's out.
Caution is out, and not because of that. But we got Kevin Winker. It sounds like it's an issue, and there he is. Kevin Winker, one of those drivers just inside the top 15 coming into tonight with a late issue here with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, Raul Meza also involved here. We'll find out exactly what happened on the Beer Street Journal Rec replay. Please drink responsibly if we haven't already said that tonight. It's our 5th caution of the night. Let's go ahead and see exactly what happened. Kevin Winker coming out of 2. Might have lost some momentum. Big time net code there from Raul Meza. That was huge net code.
Oh, good old Uncle Netcode strikes again, and we see a lot of trucks going through and possibly picking up damage as well. I believe that was Bruce Amston. I think it was Cody Riggs I saw as well. But look, I mean, not a good night for the server.
Not at all, man. That is just huge. Andrew Harris, we saw him go there. I'm not sure if we can get an onboard cam of his experience going through that wreck, but man, he got close to getting involved there.
Here's Harris got the onboard. See him go right through.
He did get damage.
But yeah, there's some damage there. But amazingly enough, that truck. Oh, maybe it was. Maybe it just didn't look like it. But that truck might be killed.
I think his spirits are killed more than anything after the night that he has had. A night filled with ups and downs, a roller coaster for that 87 to Andrew Harris. But right now, Jacob Zala's pacing the field. That strategy paying off out there on those old tires.
And something I was about ready to mention before we had that 3 wide and then the caution came out, we're talking about Jacob Zala having that great run through 1 and 2, and I think this really set up well for Sean Jensick because I don't think you want to make that pass in 1 and 2. You don't want to risk that there. You got the better tires. You can make any line you want really work that much better. In 3 and 4, I think that's where he was trying to set him up and just kind of buying his time just a little bit there, not trying to force that issue. He had like a second behind him to Jonathan Byer, the next truck on fresh tires. So I think Jensick was just being patient there, and he's got to be careful of that though, because we might start seeing a lot more of these quick cautions with everybody getting a little bit more aggressive here. The good news for him, he's going to be on the front row with fresh tires compared to Jacob Zala, and he might get that good shot going into turn 1 here.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I wanted to throw in my 2 cents. I don't know if we can get our producer while we're still under caution here. I don't know if our producer Sean could go back to that restart real quick and watch Landon Cardulo. There's a reason here, and I feel like Jacob Zala might be on a better, kind of in a better situation than the guys with 2 tires. If you watch this restart here with Landon Cardulo as he goes off into 1, this is what 2 tires will do when you have, old left sides and new right sides. You'll see he'll drive off into 1, and he just completely loses the handling of the truck. It literally turns the truck into a basically like you're driving on ice. So in some ways, yes, I think Sean Jensick has better tires, but I think Jacob Zala might be a little bit have a little bit of an advantage and not be so bad just because his tires are evenly worn.
And that's a big thing there, what you just brought up with evenly worn. I mentioned it on Sunday with Xfinity practices, and Xfinity cars handle so much different than anything else, the trucks or the Cup cars. But after about 10, 15 laps, 2 tires was almost a huge disadvantage up until maybe about 4 or 5 laps, and then they started to even out just enough where you can kind of get some grip back. It's real tricky, and kind of skating on ice is the right way to put that. That truck will want to get real sideways on you, especially in 1 and 2 where the grip is that much more important. But you got to get that heat, and you got to kind of wear out those right side tires enough. I don't know if he's going to do it under caution laps, but it's going to help a little bit at least.
We race on dirt now in the NASCAR series, so why not race on ice? We can just do it all here, but the pace car lights are off. We're going to have 6 laps to figure out who's going to take home the trophy from Darlington. Pace car is off. Jacob Zala gets a good jump on Sean Jensick. Oh, whoa!
That thing just hooked left.
That is a downshift instead of an upshift.
Boy.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind, and the worst thing for Sean Jensick, we are still green, and that is a huge hit for our Daytona winner, Sean Jensick. He's going to go all the way back, and we got a huge wreck. Michael Madden upside down.
Wow, that was a big-time impact there for the 15. He's getting more people. The 63 of Bruce Amston, big damage there. Not a good lap for Revved Racing at all here. Jacob Zala might have the strategy to win this race on old tires. Let's go ahead and check out our 6th Beer Street Journal Rec replay. Brandon, sorry, cut you off there.
Your sponsor matters. But no, like we were saying early tonight, being up front, you want to have that track position. The track position going a long way for Jacob Zala as we see what happened here. Not sure who that was. That was side by side there. Looks like the 88. So Joseph DuPont in the Dale Earnhardt Jr. inspired scheme on the outside, and that is just turn 2 being turn 2. That is just an interesting physics that happened there afterwards. But what set that up was turn 2 being turn 2. Just so hard to be side by side out of that turn. And yeah, just not a whole lot here. And now let's go back to the restart and watch these watch the RPMs here. You'll get a good sign of what's going on. Oh yeah, he missed that shift heavy. And either downshifted or just completely missed it, because you could see that thing peg as he was making that shift, and it just snapped that thing to the left.
That is an absolute killer. But right now, look who's in second. Our season points leader, Jonathan Byer, who's having an absolutely fantastic season. Look at that damaged truck. Look at these guys up here running 1, 2, 3. We got old tires. We got damaged trucks. We got rookies. We got newcomers. We got all kinds of storylines happening right here on SRN's Truck Series for the Throwback 125s. We're going to have to get a winner eventually here, but man, it has been plagued with cautions ever since that iRacing server problem.
And aside from that, it sounds like Darlington to me with a whole bunch of strategy, whole bunch of damage out there out front. But yeah, I mean, we mentioned it a couple cautions ago. We have not mentioned Jonathan Byer's name all night, and all of a sudden he's sitting in second place. And Jacob Zala, that strategy is looking more and more brilliant as we keep going here, because there has been no opportunity for anybody to get by him, because we keep having these quick cautions after these restarts, and now we're looking like we're going to be going green-white checker here for our first overtime, unless it's going to be one of those natural ones as we look. And we're still going to be under caution, so we're going to have our first overtime of 3 attempts here coming up.
Oh, man. This just totally changed everything, but why not be Jacob Zala when he's rocking the John Force Throwback, the winningest driver in NHRA history? He's got hundreds of wins, all kinds of championships. That is a good paint scheme to have on the truck tonight, and it's proving to be, as he is pacing the field currently and has a serious shot at winning this race tonight. I might be taking some Landon Lacey lessons here shortly.
Hey, he's got the drag race truck. It might be a drag race every time on these restarts, as quick as we've been seeing the cautions come back out. So it might be straight line speed that pays off here for Jacob Zala.
I'd have to charge you that Kane Cook fee, Greg.
Oh, that's free. It's free. It's free for me, Just... but no, all joking aside, Landon, one of our winningest drivers in SRN, so it's a good guy to learn from. That's all the boasting I'll do for you, Landon, tonight.
I appreciate it. I'm glad I got at least something.
All right, I'm pretty sure we'll see the 1 to go here, but like Brandon said, this will be the first of 3 attempts under green-white checker conditions. We'll give you a quick run-through of our top 10 as they stand. Jacob Zala gonna be in first, Jonathan Byer in second, Lucas Lyons in third, Blair Holloman in fourth, and Brad Herman rounding out our top 5, Brandon.
And then right behind him is going to be Josh Mueller. Right outside of him going to be Josh Mueller in 6th. Landon Cardulo will be in 7th. Outside of him, Michael York going to be in 8th. And then the 5th row on this restart, hopefully the last one tonight, is going to be Joseph DuPont and Mike Mosby rounding out our top 10.
So here we go. We got some beat-up trucks. We got old tires. We got 2 tires. We got 4 tires. We got all kinds of strategies being had here on this lady in black here in Darlington, South Carolina. We'll see if Jacob Zala can pull it out and get his first win of the season. Would be a huge win for Tank Racing as they're sitting 5th in the standings. They need a lot of momentum to get that ball rolling here. He could get it going tonight. Josh Mueller having a great run too, sitting there in the top 5. There we go. He gets a good jump here on Jonathan Byer. Jonathan Byer going to be under attack here. Blair Holloman to his outside. Blair Holloman making a serious run here to get up to the front. He's got 4 fresh tires. Can it get done here? Would we see it go all the way around, or will we have another caution here?
It looked like Jonathan Byer had some trouble on that restart. We got one around going into the wall hard. It's Joseph DuPont. Caution out. We got a big wreck on the follow-through.
Man, and that's just the hardest thing, you know. Obviously, you don't want to come back up on the track, but this track is so narrow that wall shoots you right back up into the traffic, and there's absolutely nowhere for these guys to go. So some big impacts there for these guys back here in the pack as, you know, DuPont had nothing to do but come back up in the track.
Well, Beer Street Journal is getting their money's worth here late in this race as the intensity ramped up and away we went with some hard racing here. And we watched the 88 of Joseph DuPont. Not sure if he got loose or if there was a little bit of contact. That's a tough one to tell from that angle. And the worst part with that, the reason why he shot back up on the track is he hit that inlet into the wall, and look here, yeah, there's a little bit of contact with the 16, just a tough spot there, and he's hitting that curved part of the wall, and that really doubles that impact where it wants to shoot you up on the track, and there's a lot of trucks that got caught up in that follow through.
Yeah, really unfortunate as Joseph DuPont was having a great night running in the top 10. Needed a good run to push his efforts into the top 15 to make the playoffs, but that is not going to be the case tonight. Maybe he has a faster pair to get back out there on the track, maybe pick up some more spots, but right now going to lose a lot of track position here. But there you go, the man with the plan, looking good so far. We were skeptical at first. Jacob Zala still out in front.
It's working, but I think the time might be running out because the man that wanted that caution the most, I think, with the green-white checker finish, got it, and that's Blair Holloman on those 4 fresh tires. Now you line him up by the side of Jacob Zala, doesn't have to make up that 3/4 tenths of a second that he was going to have to after making those passes to get into the second spot. He's going to be sitting real pretty right now in that 06 truck.
See if he's able to get it done. We're going to be taking our second attempt at a green-white checker here out of 3. So still more time to be had, possibly, if there is more wrecking, which I do anticipate. It's just, you know, it's crunch time here. Once we get to these last 2 laps, everybody wants to get everything they can. And not much give and take out there on track. So we'll see if these guys can sort it out amongst themselves, get back around and take that white flag, and we'll see exactly who brings home that checkered flag here in a bit.
And while we still had a couple laps under this caution, one thing to kind of point out, we're talking about how close we are to the playoffs and how these point standings, we saw a handful of drivers within 10-12 points of getting into the playoff, 5 drivers or so that were about 10-12 points away from being out of the playoff with only a couple races left. And at this point, we're seeing all these trucks start having issues, start dropping out of the race. Who's had the patience tonight? Who's had the struggle that they got a lap or 2 down early, but they stuck with it instead of getting frustrated or maybe even just disconnecting, thinking, oh, the race is over? Who's stuck with it and who's picking up those extra points? That's going to go a long way in these final few weeks.
It is never over until it's actually over. Nothing truer in racing than that statement right there. So we'll see exactly what happens as they start to grid up. I imagine we're going to see the 1 to go here under yellow. We're going to see everybody stack them up to go green.
Yeah, Brandon, I was going to your comment of what you were just talking about. I mean, you look at Jacob Zala, he was 1 point out of the playoffs coming into tonight, so he's going to pick up a good chunk of points here and possibly be inside by the time we get to I don't remember where we race next week.
Or they don't go to Talladega, they go to Charlotte next.
No, that whole schedule change has got me all confused.
Yeah, we will be in Charlotte next week at the Oval, so that'll be their next race. Talladega moving to the playoffs. So yeah, this is going to be huge for him in the effort to make the top 15.
Yeah, good news, truck drivers. You get Talladega in the middle of round 2 in the playoff. That'll be fun, but we can look forward to that in November.
Yeah, not sad about that. We are missing out on that action in the playoffs. You know, that is just. You know, we think it's chaotic here tonight, man. We're going to see exactly what chaos is tomorrow as we go out to the Super Speedway at Talladega for the Xfinity Series, but we'll get on that later on in the show. We got a race to finish here tonight. We're going to see that pace car peel off. We're going to see 2 laps to go. A green-white checker, the second attempt at it. Jacob Zala, our leader, going to get going here. Lucas Lyons going to get a good jump, and Blair Holloman going to try his best to clear Lucas Lyons and get a stab at the leader, Jacob Zala, but Blair Hallman falling back a little bit. That's not what he's going to need to make a run here. Lucas Lyons could be sitting pretty if he can get that truck up there. Both these guys on the same strategy.
And just these restarts have been great. Oh no, and Holloman hard into the inside wall. Still green, and that is a killer. And Jacob Zala looking like he might take it. We got big trouble in 3 and 4. Jonathan Byer, Michael York getting heavy contact. We still stay green and take the white flag.
White flag in the air. Jacob Zala got an 0.8 of a second lead, looking like he's got a good chance of bringing this home if he can keep that truck straight. Landon Cardulo about 5 or 6 truck lengths back, but man, Jacob Zala looking like he is going to bring this John Force paint scheme home tonight. Round and turns 3 and 4. The strategy to stay out is going to pay off, and Jacob Zala is our winner for the Throwback 125 here at Darlington.
That's my boy.
they're wrecking behind him, coming back to the line as it looked like Stan Carnathan and a few others getting caught up. Jonathan Byer sitting there. That was after the line. So Carnathan actually going to hang on to 5th despite that truck being all torn up. But unreal to make that strategy work. We saw 3 different strategies here at the end of this play out in our top 3, if I recall right. And Landon Cardulo. Yeah, well, they're all trying to go for the tap, and I think they're trying to kill the truck instead, actually, as they're helping Jacob Zala start on the celebration, it seems. But Jacob Zala, what a job to hang on to that truck and just do an amazing job making that work on those old tires, stretch that thing out about 40 laps at the end of this, going against guys with tires that had half the wear. Unbelievable job on all those restarts.
Yeah, and it's huge for his team, and you see them all celebrating out there. They were looking to get their first win in the team standings, and he has done that for them tonight. You mentioned it was sitting outside the cut by a point. I have to imagine that that is not going to be the case anymore. Our newest winner on the season, Jacob Zala, going to be taking it home in first place. Landon Cardulo made a great effort to get back up towards the front after being involved in some wrecks there early on, coming home in second. Brad Herman going to round out our top 3. Lucas Lyons going to bring it home in 4th. And Stan Carnathan going to round out our top 5.
And his teammate Michael York going to be in 6th. Josh Mueller, coming off his short track championship, is going to be in 7th. Jonathan Byer, the points leader, should still hold on to that with an 8th place finish. Bobby Anderson in 9th, making a charge up the leaderboard after entering this race in 20th. And Sean Kozier is going to round out our top 10.
There, Jacob Zala just blew up his engine. Jack Johnson going to be in 11th tonight. Kevin Winker going to bring it home in 12th. Travis Trevelyan bringing it home in 13th. James Kerr going to come home 14th. And Taylor Smith going to be in 15th.
Rounding out the top 20, 16th place going to be Mike Mosby. Cody Riggs in 17th. Dave Fuge Jr. 18th place. Troy Techmeyer in 19th. Kyle Wimble in 20th. And then just to give the shout out to the last driver on the lead lap, Walt Pickey in 21st. So 21 of our drivers, about half the field, finishing on the lead lap here at Darlington.
Let's go ahead, bring up our 3rd place finisher tonight. You see it there on the board. It's going to be Brad Herman for Next Level Motorsports. Brad, it's Greg and Brandon in the booth. We had an absolute roller coaster of a race. iRacing server issues. We had wrecks. We had cautions. We had pit strategies. Tell us about your race tonight, man, and how it feels to get a 3rd place.
I mean, it was a better race than I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be a lot more cautions, but kind of shot myself in the foot. I got the wall twice in one of those longer runs, and when the caution came out, it didn't take my fast repair. I had 50 seconds worth of damage, and I knew I should have took it, and I was losing tons of positions left and right, and was able to come back down and get it fixed up and get lucky there towards the end, and was able to put it back on the podium.
Hey, and that's the big thing at the end. You know, you made up those spots, got back up there, taking home that 3rd place finish. And one thing I kind of wanted to touch on is more the big picture. You know, we're getting pretty close here to the playoff. I know that Talladega isn't happening for y'all this week, obviously, with us here at Darlington. But those last few races before the playoff, how are you looking for those, and how are you going to approach them?
Yeah, tonight I was really just coming in here looking for points. I knew the win was possible, and I think if I did take that fast repair, I would have had a really good shot at it, but I'm happy to come away with the points that I did.
You've had a great couple of races these last couple of weeks, so great to see you back up here again on the podium, making that push to get in the top 15 and make your run for the $300 grand prize. But before we let you go tonight, you got any sponsors, any friends, any family you want to go ahead and give a shout out to?
I just got to thank Next Level Motorsports and Alpha for what they do and for putting me on their team. You guys in the broadcast booth and Trip and all them for doing the admin.
Well, I'm sure he appreciates that tonight. Absolutely crazy night on the track for you guys as well as them up in the admin booth. But go ahead and celebrate with your team, man, and make your run even more towards Charlotte. So we'll see how you do next week, bud.
All right, thanks, guys.
Well, there you go. That was our third place finisher, Brad Herman, in the 85 machine for Next Level Motorsports. Let's go ahead and bring up our runner-up tonight, Landon Cardulo for Jonathan Byer Racing. Having a great season so far. If we can go ahead and find him, we got him right here. Bringing him up right now. Landon, it's Greg and Brandon in the booth. Absolutely crazy night out there on the track. We had server issues. We had wrecks, cautions, everything out there that you could ask for. Tell us how it feels to come home with a second after an absolutely wild night.
It feels pretty good. I know for a fact I didn't make any friends out there. I do want to apologize to Blair for that last contact with him. I know I sent him in the inside wall. Wasn't my intention to, but it was a crazy race. I mean, I felt like I was a top 7 car. I didn't think I had the speed to finish in the top 5, but we did it, and hopefully iRacing gets the servers and everything figured out for next week. But other than that, I'm pretty stressful race.
Wow, that's definitely Darlington being Darlington there. But, you come out of this, and one of the things we were talking about earlier is with JBR as a whole, just kind of making the most out of what you're given every single week. And that seemed to continue here tonight. Saw Jonathan Byer just kind of biding your time. And then all of a sudden at the end of this race, right back up there, up towards the front. And just wanted to give a moment just to see, what your team thoughts are with the performance that y'all are having as you're going to continue to sit at the top of the team standings.
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely there. I mean, going into the playoffs, I feel like we've got a lot of momentum. Great teamwork going on between us guys. I know there's a lot of races that we wish we could have back. I know for me, I would love to have Richmond and last week, or we didn't race last week, but Nashville. Just a couple races, but I know that's the same way with JB and Kyle and the rest of the guys. So we're there. I know we're going to be. You guys got to watch out for us in the playoffs.
Landon, you're getting ever so close to getting that first win here in SRN. We know it's coming soon, so we'll see how you do next week in Charlotte. But before we let you go, you got any sponsors, any friends, any family you want to go ahead and give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to. My grandparents, aunt and uncle, a bunch of family members watching. My girlfriend's watching. Thanks to them. Rental cars, fire alarm services. I know we got a couple new sponsors. Ghirardelli Chocolate, that's a big one. Glitch Energy. Just thanks to them. Without them, we wouldn't be, we could show up to the races, but our cars wouldn't look so good. So big shout out to them, and again, just big shout out to my team. I mean, they're the best. So, yeah.
All right. Well, now if you don't bring any chocolate the next time we have you in the booth, you're immediately banned from the league. So,
man, okay.
Pressure is on now that we know that you have the Ghirardelli sponsor. But yeah, great job tonight, man, and we look forward to seeing what you guys can do next week at Charlotte.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. That was Landon Cardulo, our runner-up tonight. But Brandon, we got a winner to get to, and it's a first-time winner here in SRN. Our very own Jacob Zala, who commentates on Thursdays for the Xfinity Series. Jacob, tell us how you're feeling, buddy.
I'm going to tell you one thing right now, and I hope you guys' ears are ready for it. Woo! Yeah!
Well, man, it was an absolutely wild night. All kinds of strategies, all kinds of server issues, wrecks. We had it all. We had a little bit of everything tonight. And we doubted your take on staying out there, but man, you proved us wrong. Coming home in first, man, you're on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, I am. The thing about that staying out issue was, so most of those guys pitted, and I had no idea they all turned left, and I was kind of stuck in a situation where now everybody's turning left and I can't go. So my spotter, Reese Schaefer, thank you to him. He told me to just stay out and we'll ride and we'll see what happens.
Well, that happy little accident there, as it turns out in the end. But man, you came into this race 1 point outside that cut line. Obviously, with the win, going to take max points here tonight and move up above there. How you feeling with just a few races left before the playoff, and now putting yourself in a good position going forward?
Well, I feel great, honestly, Brandon. We had a bad season to start. That's for sure. We were getting into a lot of wrecks and couldn't really finish races, and now we've had a way better second half. Getting a win in SRN in my first season, I couldn't have even imagined that I would get a win, especially at Darlington, the track that's too tough to tame. Well, we tamed it here tonight.
You sure did, man, and I love hearing that excitement in your voice. But you got some celebrating to do with your team. Your first win for Tank Racing in the Truck Series. You guys needed it bad. But before we let you go here, we're going to go ahead and put this win sticker on. If Sean, our producer, has it ready, he says he's working on it here. We're going to get that win sticker right next to your name. First one for Tank Racing here this year. So I know your team captain, Devin Zimmerman, is going to be super happy for you, man. And, we always love seeing rookies come away with the win sticker. And there it is, right next to your name. Jacob Zala is a winner here in SRN. Before we let you go, bud, you got any sponsors, any friends, any family you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I think you guys know that we do have a long sponsor list here at Tank Racing. So first off, I'd like to go with Chicago Heights Start Till and Die. My dad, who's actually down there in the Discord right now, he's awesome. Comes out and supports us every week, and I love him and everything we do at Chicago Heights Start Till and Die. And then we have Healthcare Billy Incorporated, Liftworks Incorporated, Raise Energy, Hunterdon Anesthesia Associates, Butcher Box, Teespring, Common Sense Supplements, Invader Zim Designs, my Tank Racing teammates, and one more special shout out to my grandpa and Uncle Rick, who watches me as well. Thank you guys for all the support, and we finally got it done.
You sure did, buddy. And before we let you go, I just want to make sure you didn't miss any. You got quite the list there.
Yeah, I definitely didn't miss any.
Well, I'm sure Landon wants to give you a quick shout out too. He picked you here.
Jacob, but I'm so proud of you, man. I'm, after working with you last week, I was really impressed by some of the runs you put together last week when me and you were, when I was kind of giving you some pointers, and by the end of it, man, you had it down, and picked you tonight to win, bud. You pulled through. Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
I don't think I could have done it without you, Lacey. Thank you, man.
No problem.
There we go. You're gonna have to start charging him for that, for those tips there, but. Bringing that John Forth paint scheme home in first, where it belongs, the winningest driver in NHRA history, Jacob Zala. Go have some fun with your teammates, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
There you have it. I absolutely love hearing the excitement from first-time winners, Brandon. It never gets old.
Oh, yeah, and also love that he gave us the disclaimer of what was about to happen at the start of that interview. Had time to pull the headset away a little bit, but absolutely love that excitement. That's what you want to see, and that's what we get from so many of the drivers here in the league. They do it for the sheer fun of racing for so many drivers, and I love hearing that excitement.
Yeah, a lot of us don't get the opportunity to race in real life, so this is as real as it gets. So the emotion is as real as it gets too, and we got to experience that from Jacob Zala there. So I'm sure if he's in the booth tomorrow, he will still carry that excitement from today on to our race tomorrow in Talladega. But before that, we have a race next week for the Truck Series. Week number 10 action will be the Oval, not Roval 125, if that's not clear enough for you there. We'll be at the Charlotte Oval. That's next week, Wednesday, September 22nd. Catch it at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. But as I already foreshadowed, we are going to Talladega, Alabama tomorrow. We are going to be having some super speedway action tomorrow, September 16th, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Brandon, I'll be seeing you in the back, right?
Yeah, most likely. Definitely that strategy that I took at Daytona that almost worked before one of those old landmines showed up there at the end of that race. And that's what we're all going to be dodging tomorrow, all the landmines around Talladega. Just 2.66 miles of absolute danger at any time. But it's going to be wild in the process for sure.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, please tune in tomorrow. As always, like the YouTube page, subscribe so you know when we go live, and we will have some action for you tomorrow out there on the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway. But for Landon, for Brandon, and myself, that's going to do it for us tonight. And as always, remember to go faster.